Welcome back to another episode of the Try with Alex podcast. Today I am joined by Julian Caillon. Julian is a professional dancer who competed on So You Think You Can Dance and Dancing with the Stars. He is also a content creator and exercise physiologist. I found Julian on Instagram and I was captivated by his training vlogs with his fiancée Sophia. He is training for this weekend's race at Port Macquarie, doing his very first Ironman 70.3. We talk about that race in detail, from his fueling strategy to his training so far. I am also competing at that race this weekend, so it was nice to sort of compare notes. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and as always, please like and subscribe. Julian, welcome to the Try with Alex podcast, mate. Super excited to have a chat to you. Why don't you start us off with telling us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and who you are now, I guess.
Yeah, so I have grown up in Sydney my whole life. I grew up around the kind of Maroubra, kind of southeast of Sydney. Went to the French school, so I have a French-Italian background.
Cool.
And my parents have a French patisserie and have so for 25 years this year, actually, 25 years, which is pretty handy. As soon as I got into cycling and triathlon, pretty handy thing to have.
I saw your story this morning having a croissant.
Constantly. Almond croissants on demand are a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So I have always grown up around sports. My dad was a big soccer player, so I always just grew up playing sports. I played soccer, played tennis. And then I guess my big-ish thing around the age of 10, I kind of started dancing, doing ballroom dancing, ballroom and Latin American.
Yeah, nice.
And did that alongside soccer and tennis till about the age of 16. I didn't really take my dancing too seriously. Yeah. And then kind of last couple of years of school, I just kind of focused in on dancing. It's a much smaller field, and I thought probably more of a chance that I would make. I was a mediocre tennis player and an average but passionate soccer player.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought, you know what, I might just focus in a little bit more on the dancing.
Yeah. How did you get into dancing?
My mum actually kind of guilt me into doing it. So in the most loving way possible. So there was a studio kind of not far from school and not far from where I was living. Where we had a family home, and my grandparents used to dance together. My mum's, always dance and loves dancing. And she just kind of asked me, would you give it a try? And when you're 10, if your mum asks you would you do this? It's really a rhetorical question. You're going no matter what. But they wouldn't have forced me. My parents never forced me to do anything that I didn't want to. They've always been really supportive, and never pushed us in any direction. Yeah. I went, and I kind of enjoyed it. To be honest, I wasn't a popular kid, especially in primary school. Right. I was a bit round.
Round?
Yeah.
I can't picture you being round.
I had voluptuous hips.
Okay.
And anyways, I was a little bit, I don't know, just a bit of an awkward young kid. And there was 3 boys in a class of 40. And so at 10, I was like, oh, wow, so many girls.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of stuck with it, to be honest. It was something that I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
But I always kind of enjoyed my other sports and that sort of thing. And then, when I hit the kind of 16, 17, started applying myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
In my last year, or in year 12, I did So You Think You Can Dance. Yeah. Which then led to me kind of just after school moving to New York for about 7 months.
Nice.
Did some dancing.
So that was when you moved to New York. Was that for the show, or did
Correct. For a show.
So 7 months was for the show.
Yeah. So I ended up. So I was in the States for a little bit. I was in Florida for a little bit, and then did a cruise ship contract as well. And then after that, decided that I wanted to go back to competing. That I didn't want to just stick to shows in theatre yet. Yeah. So I went back to competing. I represented Australia and all that from till pretty much the age of 23, 24. And then kind of circumstances just kind of happened, and I ended up going back to the States and going back to shows, and ended up on Dancing with the Stars. And
right. So you've done reality TV twice. Tell me about some of your experiences there. What did you learn about yourself, about the world, about other people, about celebrities, I guess, from reality TV?
It's an interesting question because, reality TV is not necessarily what you think, right? A massive aspect of reality TV is not really real. you've got producers kind of prompting you and asking you questions, and
I understand that.
and you know, even if you answer a question honestly, they'll be like, yeah, okay, but maybe let's try it from this angle, and they'll kind of keep asking the questions. But you know, in a way, it kind of teaches you to know what your values are and what you're willing to do and not to do. And I think, you know, my earlier experiences, whatever I was asked to say or do, I just thought like, it's a privilege for me to be here. Like, I need them to like me. So yeah, I'll just say and do kind of whatever needs to be done. And then I look back now, and I remember in one episode, one of my celebrities was late to rehearsals, and they were asking me to like go around and pretend that I was frustrated and this and that. But you know, she had something.
This is Dancing with the Stars.
This is Dancing with the Stars, yeah. But you know, she had something pop up, and
yeah.
Stuff happens, you know. Sometimes life gets in the way. We get a little bit late. It's not the biggest deal in the world. We just stayed back a bit later. But they made this whole kind of thing out of it.
Right.
And so now it kind of, as I got confident with it, kind of made me be confident in my own choices in myself.
Yeah.
Where now I know, like I have kind of clear boundaries and lines where I know, like, all right, this is what I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
If they ask me to say this, I'm just going to say no.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of cool, kind of teaches you to have boundaries.
Yeah.
Which my partner were here, she'd tell you I probably still need to work on. That's another story.
Yeah, fair. I want to go back to So You Think You Can Dance for a moment. How did you go in the show? Like, how far into it did you get? And yeah, what was it like?
Yeah, so I was in Top 100 week, which is kind of their intensive like audition week that they run before the live shows.
Yeah.
And the top 20 is kind of like where you want to get to. That's where you start voting for people and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's around, like the top 40 is kind of the last cut, and then they go from 40 to 20. So I made it all the way to the top 40.
Yeah, nice.
And then was cut from there.
Yeah. And then did you was it like the cruise ship straight after that?
Pretty much. I went back to school.
Was that did you land a gig like that because of getting on So You Think You Can Dance thing, or was it just something that you were pursuing anyway?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped because one of the judges was one of the choreographers for the show, although he didn't have that much involvement, you know, with the kind of franchise or part of the show that I was involved with. Another dancer who kind of recommended me to the company.
Yeah.
And then, the company was called Burn the Floor, and they kind of took a gamble on me. I was 17 I just turned 18. And so, they took a real gamble on me then. Yeah. Which, if I'm honest to myself, probably didn't work out that great for them.
Okay. Really? Why is that?
Oh, look, if I'm really honest with myself, like I was just too young and I just wasn't physically and mentally ready for the intensity of like touring and dancing as part of a cast. And everyone in that cast, you know, was an amazing dancer, and I just felt like I wasn't at the standard that I needed to be, which I think was actually the best thing to ever happen to me, because up until that point, I just thought I was the absolute bee's knees. I thought I was here, like I was killing it. Yeah, like I was like, oh, I've been on TV, like I'm going to do this show, I'm going to New York, like I'm killing it. And so it was really great to actually just be taken down quite a few steps. And almost, when we finished, it was actually my choice not to go back, because I was put in a situation where I felt like I didn't belong to be there. I felt like I wasn't good enough to be there. And instead of just being, you know, sad or anything like that, I just took it as, you know what, I'm just going to go home, I'm going to go back to competing, and I'm just going to work really, really hard. Not just on my dancing, but also try and do some work on myself, so that the next time I come back to this company, I never feel like that again.
So the intention was to like come back and I guess win the hearts of them.
And it was more just for myself as well, to go back and feel like I belonged. And now, I'm still with that company now. It's been 10 years.
Fantastic.
Like obviously quite a few breaks in between, but I've been in the last 2 Australian tours that they've done. I was at the Opera House last year, and I really feel like I belong and that I deserve to be there.
How powerful is that, like getting to a point where you can find out enough about yourself to go, I can now get to any point that I need to be at. Like you've just gone, oh, I really want to be in this company, and you've gone away and you found yourself, and you practice your dancing, and then it's building clarity around yourself like that.
Yeah, I guess it's just learning to back yourself, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny, like you kind of saying it out loud and hearing it, you'd think, oh, he's just like confident in like everything and all that. But it was actually really kind of just around the dancing, because that was what I was working on, right? Other aspects I probably wasn't as sure of myself, but
confidence is a funny one, man.
Yeah.
I truly think that having confidence in yourself is like the best skill that you can learn.
Definitely.
I really do. People ask me, they'll say like, oh, do you think you're going to do the sub 10? And in my mind, like there's very little doubt. It's very like I have moments where I'm like, fire out, this is going to be really hard. But my internal monologue is just constantly saying,
for sure,
I've got this.
And I think that's definitely something that I've learned over the like as I'm, I say getting older. I'm not that old. But yeah, like I used to think that visualization and, it was a bunch of like hippie mumbo jumbo and that sort of stuff. But it's actually okay to say, no, I'm going to do well. And that was when things started changing for me as well with, dancing and being on stage. Was I remember when I was young and I was competing, I would get there, look at the field, see who was there and go, all right, I'm probably coming 5th or 6th today. And so really, I'm never going to be better than that, because mentally I've given myself the ceiling of like, that's where I'm at. Whereas, if you go into any situation and you think, oh, this is probably where I'm going to be. So for example, like I'm probably going to be around that 10 hours, like, or even, for myself leading up to Port Mac, people are like, what time do you like to get? Like, I want to get under 5 hours, but like, I'm almost scared to say that. And it's like, no, you should just back yourself and do it, because if you can't verbalize it, that's the easy part. Then how are you going to back, like if you can't verbalize it, then when you get to the day or the event or whatever you're doing, your mind will just go, actually, it's okay. It's like, because I know that I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. I truly think, like, I asked a lot of people, I was like, if they're doing Port Mac or Cairns, I say, have you got like a target timeline? They're like, no, I just want to finish. I'm like, okay. But for me, man, I think that having and for some people, like just completing it can be the really, really hard goal.
For sure.
But I truly think that if you set your mind to anything, your mind and your body will find a way to figure it out. Hell, when I started this journey, I literally had an aluminium bike. I was pushing for an hour and 40 minutes as hard as I could, and I was like maybe averaging 28 k's an hour.
Yeah.
Now, I could have set a goal based off 20 k's an hour, right? And I would have been like, yeah, I can make 12 hours or 11 hours, whatever it is. But I just said, no, I've seen someone else do it in under 10 hours. I know that I'm like relatively fit enough to do that. I'm going to say I'm going to do it in under 10 hours.
100%.
And then from there, I figure out everything that I need to do to get to that.
Yeah, and you're just pushing you're just pushing your limit, like just further and further and further above. So you're giving yourself so much more room to grow.
I'm going to call my mate Ike out here. So I hope he listens to this. He's staying with us at the moment. He's from Perth. He's over in the Goldie at the moment. And this morning, I asked him again. He wanted to do a marathon, right? And he's been talking about it on his broadcast channel on Instagram a little bit. I said to him, I was like, have you booked your marathon? And he's like, oh, no, I just want to make sure that I can commit to the training first and be able to do it. And I literally said to him, I was like, it's the other way around, man.
Yeah.
You book the marathon and then you figure out how to do the training for it.
For sure.
So I hope you're listening to this one, Ike.
It also gets more expensive the longer you wait.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, cool. All right, mate, why don't you tell me a little bit about moving on from dancing and into triathlon? How did you get into the sport and what have you got coming up very soon?
Yeah, so my journey with triathlon started maybe 2 years ago. I was just coaching at a gym in Sydney. And yeah, just with a couple of friends from there. Actually one of the other trainers had started doing some triathlon and was posting about it. I'm like, yeah, this looks kind of fun. Like I'd always kind of wanted to do one. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And then, I bought a bike.
What was your first bike?
It was a Bianchi that I bought online, and it was a disaster. Yeah,
I got know what a Bianchi is.
Yeah, so it's an Italian bike. It was actually a pretty good looking frame.
Okay.
But
carbon frame?
Yeah, it was a carbon frame, and I didn't know anything about bikes, right? And someone was like, Ultegra, that's good. And I saw like an Ultegra group set, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we're on.
I'm getting a steal here. And then anyways, like after about 4 or 5 months of having it, I'd had an accident. I got hit by a car.
Oh, jeez.
and it was all right. But I thought, oh, look, nothing too serious. Like I had a bit of whiplash, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
And then anyways, I took it in to get serviced, and the guy at the store wouldn't even service it because he called it a Frankenstein bike.
Oh, really?
And he just said the bloke who's sold you this may have had like an old bike shop, and he's just thrown everything together, and it just doesn't make any sense.
No
Also,
way.
your carbon frame's cracked, and it probably has been cracked for a while. And I was like, oh god.
That's cooked.
Anyways, my bike has been brought brand new from the store.
Yeah,
it has warranty.
the Cervelo.
It's all good. I was looked kind of fun, and so with some friends we thought, hey, why don't we do the Bateman's Bay Sprint triathlon?
Yeah, so that was your first one.
That was my first one. I did it with my girlfriend. Yeah. My girlfriend at the time then.
Fiancée now. Congratulations.
Thank you. We did the sprint, and as soon as I finished the sprint, like I was hooked.
Yeah.
Loved it. It was such a great experience.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
That was March 2023.
Oh, wow. So it's still a while ago then.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago. But typical me, like basically did that. I was actually already thinking about doing the Cairns Ironman then at the time.
Okay.
But then I went on tour with that dance company, Burn the Floor. I was on tour till about October-ish, I think. And then, just didn't kind of eventuate. And I thought, you know what, I'll just put my head down and I'll do the 70.3 distance at the Huskinson triathlon, which is in 2024.
Yeah.
That was my second one. So I went straight from the sprint to the 70.3 there.
Cool, yeah.
And that...
What was your time for the sprint? Do you remember? That was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't really remember that.
Yeah. And the Husky one,
Yeah, I remember that I actually swam really fast, even though it was probably the worst swim I've ever done in my life. I was just a terrible swimmer, and I still am not great. But we were swimming with the current.
Oh,
and so
nice.
if you look at my splits I remember coming off my splits on Strava, and I'm like, I'm gonna look real good here.
Yeah. Fantastic.
But I even stood up because it was
so
quite shallow, and I even
Yeah.
stood up to take a break, and then just basically floated to the finish line.
Yeah.
And then I PB'd my 5K. I got like a 20-minute 5K or something back then.
Wow. I've just done a sprint as well recently, and I PB'd my 5K as well. It's funny how that works, eh? You're doing a good 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, I guess you're just warm, right?
Yeah, and then you go out there and hammer it.
I think it was around the hour-ish mark.
That's still very quick.
Yeah, it would have been maybe an hour 10, an hour 15. I don't know, something along those lines.
And then Husky. How's Husky? I've heard it's incredible down there.
Yeah, Husky was good. The ride is a little bit kind of like wavy hills, but nothing too crazy. No real climbs. But the swim is stunning. It's out on the bay there as the sun's rising. The swim is beautiful. Yeah. And then even the run was enjoyable. If anything, it just got a bit hot.
Oh, yeah.
But you've got kids there hosing you down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was pretty fun.
I think Husky's I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure Noosa is the biggest triathlon festival in the world, and then Husky's I think the second biggest in the Southern Hemisphere or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Okay, it is pretty big.
Yeah.
It's a massive weekend.
I was looking at photos and videos from this year, and I was just gutted I didn't plan to go down there because it's just
it's
such
an
a
awesome
vibe.
weekend, and it's it's such a great place as well. All the suburbs around there, Jervis Bay is beautiful. You've got Mollymook and Ulladulla that are around there as well.
How do you get there? What's the best way to get there?
I was in Sydney, so I just drove down. It was only a couple hours or so it's not too bad. Yeah. Cool. I had no real training plan or anything. We just kind of winged it. I was just cycling twice a week, running twice a week, swimming twice a week. Yeah. And then I was still just going to the gym loads. Yeah.
It's uncanny how similar it is to my first 70.3 as well.
Yeah.
Which was my first triathlon. I just literally winged it, a lot of it.
Yeah, there you go. It was just... And then even on the course, I remember I was just having a great time. Yeah. I think I was just doing it to complete it. Yeah. And I was just stoked. I was just having fun. I remember singing on the bike, just to get myself through it. Yeah. And then... Yeah, the run, I went out way too hot and then absolutely died the second lap.
It seems like a common theme.
I went out way too hot. Yeah. But no, it was good.
Were you making content about it at this time? Because right now, like your Instagram is popping off, you're constantly making reels and sharing the journey. Were you doing it back then as well?
I guess I was trying to.
Yeah.
But I think I just I wasn't as consistent as what I am now. And then, I was putting together like reels and videos and posts about training and all that. But
this is a really hard question, especially for like non-creators listening. What do you think would be a piece of advice to anyone that's trying to become a bit of a creator online? Like what have you noticed has had some success?
Make it about you.
Yeah.
So I think compared to when I first tried to make content and didn't really get any traction with it, I was just making it about the training. So each reel was like an individual workout. So a different bike workout or a different run or a different workout in the gym. Whereas this time around, like I think if I have, let's say, a 45-second video, I reckon the actual training probably makes up maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds. And then the other kind of 50 to 60% is more just me with my partner or me at work or, trying
the morning routine, the setup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like trying to also show your personality. And I think I'm also very fortunate that I think what's really done well for me is my partner is also doing we're both doing the Ironman in the 70.3 in Port Mac.
Yeah, coming up
this weekend. Yeah, which we're really excided for.
That is a massive hack.
And and the fact exactly. It's a hack on multiple fields because if she wasn't doing it, I'd never see her. We'd be getting, we'd probably have to try and carve out some more time.
Guys,
so the fact that we do that together is already great, and it also helps each other through it. But the fact that she's doing that means that we have something a little bit different that we can share, with the world. But definitely just try and make it about yourself.
Like all Pillar products,
I'm not saying that as like an egotistical way, but if people are gonna, follow your journey, you want them to have an investing interest in you and to get to know you.
One of their newest releases, and down the line as well, building that personal brand rather than just, like you said, sharing the training stuff. That's good for your own endeavors down the line as well.
Conditions like
definitely adds value
hamstring
to
tendon,
the followers and the fans.
Achilles tendonitis, and shin splints. Now, this product was brought to market in collaboration with Gelida Laboratories in Germany. It features clinically trialed collagen peptide called Tendo Forte, which is designed to strengthen and promote collagen synthesis. Now, did you know that after the age of 30, you lose 1% of your body's collagen every single year? That is a significant amount that needs to be replenished, especially if you're involved in endurance sports. All you need is one scoop. It is completely flavorless and actually pairs perfectly with your morning coffee. That is exactly how I've been having it every morning, and I genuinely love it. So if you want to check it out and give the collagen repair a try, then head to pillarperformance.shop, or for the North American customers, head to thefeed.com. You can use the code ALEX to save 15% off your first purchase. Let's get back into the podcast, guys. Cheers.
Because even just going off what you were saying in terms of the personal brand, like this is something that I kind of worry about sometimes, is that I've built up, my, content and my following. I feel like such an imposter saying that over the last, it's increased quite a bit over the last month to 6 weeks, but that's all been around getting ready for Port Mac. And so then I'm like, what happens after this weekend? Like,
well, that's a really good
question. Do I just have nothing else to share, or like, does this mean I just need to keep doing Ironmans ongoing over and over? Because like, I don't know if I can afford that. And then I think that's why, I'm hoping that because I've tried to make it more, also about my career and my work outside of training and, my life with Soph, my partner, that it becomes a bit more kind of organic and easy to continue on with.
It's definitely a fear that I have as well, especially as well because I'm doing the giveaway of the bike if I don't make it. I have a lot of people.
That's so brave.
Yeah, I reckon there'll be a lot of people though that are jumping on board, following invested, and then I might, either if I do it, they'll just be like, all right, jump off now and follow on to the next thing that captures their attention. But it's one of those things. But like you say, man, like creating for you and just doing what you love it makes everything so much easier.
Yeah, and it makes it sustainable as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I think even obviously you take inspiration from what other people are doing as well. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm original, and I've definitely looked at what other people are doing. I've tried to go about it in my way, and so it's still try to create things from my point of view. Yeah. But yeah, I've definitely gotten inspiration by some people online. But it's about trying to find it in a way that pleases you. So like I'm not making my reels or anything to make to someone else love it or anything. I'm just making something that I enjoy making and that's kind of easy to make and incorporate in part of my life.
Yeah.
Like if I try and make reels about trying to offer financial advice, it might do well because everyone wants to make money and needs stock advice, so that could pop off, but I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. One thing you did say before, which this is what I've found has given me a lot of success with the Instagram side of things, is consistency, man.
Yeah.
Just like, and me doing it every day or trying to do it every day has been, it's easy for concepts. It's easy to just rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, you get into a routine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that for me, like you could do anything. And if you do it consistently every single day, one, you'll continue to improve. Two, the algorithm will find people that actually love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it will work.
Yeah, so and you just need one, right?
Yeah.
You just gotta, and I mean, I think I used to watch my numbers so much. Like, how many people have viewed it?
This early
on. How many likes do I get?
Still do it
how
every
much,
now and again.
Yeah. How much engagement do I get? And then I think it was James Smith. He was talking about content, and he was saying, if you put up one video and you get 6,000 views and you're happy with that, and you got 100 and something likes, that's great. But you're actually better off posting, 6 times that week and getting 2,000 because that your weekly, viewership and all that is going to go up.
Yeah.
So I really kind of set myself a challenge when I started this whole journey, and I started documenting it, of doing at least kind of 4 to 5 reels a week and 1 to 2 kind of posts.
And done is better than perfect. Like
100%.
Getting it done.
But that's the hardest part to accept as well.
Oh, big time. There's days where I'm making my content and it'll be like towards the end of the reel. And now most people are dropping off by the end of the reel, right?
Yeah,
so
most
most people aren't even watching this part of the reel.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, no, I don't like that clip.
Yeah, man, I'm like that with the music. I'm like trying to cut it, and I'm like trying to find all these interesting parts and make it go to the beat and all this stuff. Man, you just gotta get it out there. I've sent like half a dozen drafts to my partner and been like, she's not replying. I'm like, which one do you like?
God, tell me.
Do you like it with this song or this song? She goes, who cares? Just put it out.
Put it out there. Yeah, done is definitely better than perfect.
Yeah.
All right, mate, let's move into something that I'm just so excited to talk about. This Sunday, you are racing Port Mac 70.3 with your fiancée. What has the prep been like? Lead up to it in terms of training, and I would love to dive into as well, like what you've been doing for nutrition. We can talk about training wise, and then we'll get into race day and things like that.
It's actually been awesome. I think this has actually been the most enjoyable block of training I think I've ever done. It's been one of the few times where I've actually really been able to carve out a solid block of time and commit to one specific race or goal.
Nice.
It's actually the first time I've brought like an outside coach on as well.
That would have been a big help.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was, again, like in that naive mindset of, I'm an exercise physiologist, I've been a coach for 10 years, like I can just apply my fitness principles and I'll be able to get myself through it. And you know what? Like on a very surface, I just want to complete it.
Yeah. Works. Great.
It works.
Yeah.
But you can't underestimate the value of like someone who lives and breathes that sport, who has 10 plus years, whatever experience, who really knows what they're talking about. And so, having their guidance, and even from an accountability point of view as well.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about it. I mean, you're similar as well. Like, we have a busy life. I work a full-time job, trying to train this much, then trying to program for yourself. Like, every Friday my program gets uploaded. I look at it. Great. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fantastic. How many hours a week are you doing training at the moment?
Well, obviously at the moment it's taper
course,
week.
yeah,
But I'd say, depending on like if I was in my kind of building phase, peak phase, that sort of stuff, I'd say on average, maybe like 15 to 16 would probably be the average. I was, so for the first...
That's massive for 70.3.
Yeah.
And like you're working a lot, you're doing the dancing and everything alongside this. Like,
Yeah, I think at the start as well, I was actually probably pushing towards 18, 19 because I was training for high rocks as well.
Yeah, right.
So I was doing those kind of side by side.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah,
man.
that was a lot. I think my biggest week was about 19.
Yeah. I don't even think I've got to a 19 yet. I'm not a full. I might be underdone, eh?
Yeah, that was because I was doing the high rocks as
yeah.
well, so I was doing a lot of extra strength. As soon as I finished that, like it was, around that 15 was probably.
Yeah.
To be fair though, my rides I always did them longer.
Yeah.
Than what my coach prescribed. He'd be like, 3-hour ride, and I'd be off on like a 4.5, 4 hour. So there's
What's
an
been
easy.
your longest ride?
I rode to Brunswick and back. That was about 125 k's, and that was pretty enjoyable.
Nice.
Best part of the ride is the coffee and the pastries.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But they're fun. I love my weekend rides, going out with the group, and but it's been the whole. When did we start? We started around January. So it's been about 15, 16 weeks of training, and the whole journey. Like I've just loved it.
Loved it.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with the sport, the community as well. Even though I probably haven't been able to or haven't engaged with the triathlon community as much as I would like to, just because if I get given a session, I think we've spoken about it before, when I get given a session, like I just need to do that exact session.
Yeah, those social rides can come sometimes.
You don't want to
bit
stop
wondering.
as much, and so definitely once this race is done, I definitely want to keep engaging the community with the community and just meet more like-minded people like yourself, like people who love the sport.
Yeah.
But it's been great, and everything. I feel like everything's gotten better. Like I'm riding better than I ever have. I feel like I'm running really well. I thought I was swimming really well. And
Swimming is humbling, man.
Yeah, I actually thought I was doing all right, and then had this guy at the pool on the weekend. Really nice. Like stopped and he was a swim coach, bit of an older guy, and he was giving me some advice, which was really helpful.
Yeah.
But he kind of finished with, he goes, look, mate, the best thing you can do right now is just learn to swim.
What?
And I was like...
He said that to you?
Yeah, and I was like,
Oh
God,
shit.
I'm racing this weekend. And he goes, yeah, good luck, mate. So,
that's
we'll see. But no, it's been awesome.
Yeah. And this week, coming up on Sunday, have you got a time in mind? I think you hinted at 5 hours.
Yeah,
before.
I would. Yeah, I'm really aiming for that 5 hours.
Yeah.
I really want, I'm going to really push myself to get under the 5.
Yeah.
Obviously, Port Mac is a slightly difficult-ish course because of the
roads
elevation.
are a bit rough and the elevation as well.
And then also the weather's not looking fantastic. So obviously, on the downhills, you're probably going a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But, look.
Take it as it comes, mate. 5
Exactly.
hours, I reckon you'll smash it.
Yeah, we're just going to put your head down and just go for it. I'm actually really excited for the run. I don't know why.
The run. Okay.
I just can't wait.
It's a good feeling getting off the bike.
Yeah.
You find
I just can't wait to just get off, and then that's it. It's the last leg, right? You've got I'm aiming for about an hour and a half ish for the run.
Yeah, you'll be flying.
So yeah, we'll just see how we go. My nutrition will let me down before my body lets me down, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that then. What is your plan going into the entire race? So when are you getting there? And then what are you doing nutrition-wise in terms of carb loading? Have you got a strategy around that?
Yeah, so my carb loading strategy is pretty simple, is just eat a lot.
Eat as much as you can? Okay.
No, so basically 3 days out. I've started kind of eating a kind of lower protein, higher carbohydrate diet, this week.
Yeah.
And about 3 days out, again, I'll up it again.
Yeah.
But then race day, to be honest, I'm a big believer in everything that happens on race day. Your success is kind of defined before that.
Yeah.
So race day for me, nothing changes. I wake up, I'll either have a couple of bagels with a generous serving of Nutella or some hot cross buns.
Love Nutella.
That's just, that's what I have every
single time.
every morning before I go for a
Coffee?
ride. Yeah. Coffee, have an almond latte.
It's early. It's an early start. Hey, so you've like.
It's a 6:30 start, right? Yeah, because
Is it that late? Is it?
it's
thought it was
I think
earlier.
6:30 the waves start.
Okay.
But then it's an early. I think check-in
that's
opens
not
at
too
4:30.
bad.
But man, I start work at 4:45, so
Yeah. Okay. So it's
not
normal
too
for
bad.
you.
Yeah.
And do you think you'll sleep? There's no nerves. Do you think?
I don't know.
It's race day. You never know.
Yeah,
really, do
exactly. I think I'll be all right. I think if anything, my partner probably won't sleep, which will probably keep me up.
You up. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know.
think I think I'll be right with Port Mac, but I think Cairns I'll be a bit on edge if I'm honest.
Oh, for sure. I'd be on edge about doing a full Ironman as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so your race starts, and then let's talk about nutrition for the actual race. Like, I want to know, have you got details in terms of how many carbs you're trying to hit per hour?
Yeah.
Will you? Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So again, I'm having a sit down with my coach on Thursday, where we'll kind of really write down a specific plan. But I mean, nothing's going to change too much compared to say like training. So I'll have a gel before I start the swim.
Yeah.
Then when I come out of the water, I've heard a couple of different things about whether or not you should have a gel straight after you swim or not.
Okay.
I've heard that sometimes it's best not to have a gel because if you're like me and you swallow a lot of water when you're swimming, it could sit in your stomach. Yeah. So this is where having a coach is really helpful.
Okay.
If there's anyone listening that has some tips, I'd love them as well. But yeah, and then basically carbs wise on the bike, I'll aim for about 80-ish, 80 to 90 grams per hour.
And how do you find that amount of carbs in training at the moment? Do you find like you're hitting it easy? Do you ever feel like... Yeah.
Pretty, I mean, on the trainer, it's a lot easier because things like, your hot cross buns and all that, they have about 45 grams of carbs in one. So if I have a couple of those, there's already like a serving per hour. And we'll usually have just one, every hour and then have some gels.
Yeah.
Your carby
So
are
you be carrying hot cross buns
No.
in the race?
No.
I was gonna say.
On my long rides, I'll exclusively, I'll use like, your tailwind, your kind of carby electrolyte mix.
Yeah.
And then...
You're not going to believe what I do. You're not going to believe it.
Oh, yeah?
We'll get to it in a minute.
I'll use some Pure Sports gels. They're like the ones that sit really well.
Yeah.
In like just with my tummy, I've tried a couple of different brands.
Yeah.
God, I've had some rough experiences. And yeah, if to be honest, I'll carry some lollies and stuff as well because I just like to.
Dates? Do you have any dates?
I hate dates.
Oh, really? That's
I've
a shame.
tried. I've really
Mate,
tried because I know
packed
I
full
put
of
them in a.
carbs.
I know I put them in a smoothie.
Yeah.
But I think maybe on race day I'll just cop it.
Yeah. You know another tip for you? I don't do this one, but someone else told me about it. Is you could even do hot cross buns as well, if I'm honest. He would get like Vegemite sandwiches and maybe put like white bread, six on top of them, six, and then just squish them down and cut them up into little corners. You could probably do it with hot cross buns even. Just
maybe, yeah.
smash
I don't know
them
if they're
out.
still stocking them. That's
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But
All
yeah,
right.
again, like I'm not going to pretend like I've got it all figured out.
Of
like
course not,
I'll
no.
obviously heavily relying on my coach for the strategy, and I'm still a novice
So 80 to
to
90,
the sport.
80 to 90 per hour on the bike, and then does that change onto the run?
Yeah, on the run, probably aim around the kind of 50 to 60.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to get stuff.
Yeah,
in the
and
run,
also I struggle to maintain my pace, rip open the gel, and
Yeah.
kind of keep going.
Yeah. Do you have a belt like with any?
My
hydration?
tri-suit got some pockets in the side,
Yeah.
and all that. So
So
yeah,
not carrying any bottles or anything like that.
no,
No,
just stuff
aid
everything there.
stations.
To be fair though, it's probably one of my flaws that I don't really drink enough when I'm running. But I'll just use the aid stations.
stations.
They're I think everywhere.
How do you go trying to drink through the aid stations while running? Have you tried that?
The couple of times I've tried it, it's not been too bad.
Yeah.
My strategy is just grab two, squeeze it, just throw them on your face, see what gets in, and just try to work through as many as you can.
I like it.
I saw a guy in Texas at the Ironman Texas on the weekend. Apparently he went through like 14 cups across the stretch. He just kept walking and just...
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my strategy for the Ironman, Port Mac's a little different because I feel like it's 21k. You don't need
suffer it
too
out.
much, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can get off the bike and you've had a big drink off the bike, and then you can get through most of it without too much.
I guess for us, as living on the Gold Coast as well, we're probably used to losing a lot of body fluid.
Exactly.
With the humidity and the heat. But
Yeah.
I had a look at the forecast. It's meant to be 21 degrees, fairly cool. We might not sweat as much as we're used to. So.
Yeah. But for cans, man, I will be stopping. For the first maybe 15, 20 Ks, I'll have my bottles on my nerd belt thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, I plan to like literally stop at each station, just because I've run a marathon before and I was running through every aid station and it would just go up my nose and it would throw me off and I'd be coughing and like I'd almost...
I guess you want to stay in your rhythm as well, right?
Yes and no, but like especially in an Ironman, dropping the heart rate for ever so small moment of just walking is like really beneficial, man.
Sure.
If you can drop, if you're pinging at like 165s at some point, and you just stop through an aid station and bring it down to 150, you can take off again and keep the pace at 150,
for sure.
and you'll use way less energy. That's my novice opinion and relentless optimism, but we'll see how it plays out on race day. Okay, so 40 to 50 grams of carbs on the run and just gels and things like that.
Yeah.
Cool, all right. And talk to me about transitions. So everyone's got their own little nicks and knacks and transitions. How are you going to come out of the swim and onto the bike? Have you got...
So, believe it or not, I actually think that transitions is where my dancing comes into play.
Nice.
So if you've ever been to a theatre show or anything like that, you may realise that there are some very quick changes between numbers. So ever since I was 18, I've been like given, all right, you've got 90 seconds to completely change your outfit and get back on stage. Right. So I feel like my entire dancing career has been leading to helping me with transitions. So I was actually, my transitions were actually pretty quick in the couple of tries that I've done. Right. But yeah, the plan, honestly, my plan coming out of the swim is to just not fall over. I think I was absolutely shocked when I did my first 70.3 and I came out of the water and I was like, what is happening to my legs?
It's hard to describe that feeling.
I felt like I needed to go to the toilet straight away. Like everything was happening. But yeah, I guess general game plan is, successfully make it out of the water. Obviously, Velcro off, arms off. Potentially gel in, depending on what the coach says. Then make it to your transition, legs off. Helmet on. Have to remember that one.
Have to remember the helmet
first. Remember that one. And
then, where are your shoes? Your bike shoes? Are they on the pedals locked in already? Are they? You okay?
I haven't. My shoes are just normal cycling shoes. I've contemplated putting them on the bike and trying it, but honestly, I think that the stage I'm at, it's not something I've practiced, and I think I'll lose more time potentially trying to do it. And I've seen some people on the course like have to stop because they haven't been able to get their shoe on and that sort of stuff. And so for me, whatever few seconds I may lose running in my cleats, I would rather just cop that than make a bigger mistake a little bit down the line.
I'm exactly the same. A few people have said to me, "Oh, are you going to like put your shoes onto your pedals and use the Lucky Band stuff?" And I've running cleats, and it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, man. But we're talking like a couple hundred meters max, right? And then it's done, and then you're on the bike, and you don't have to. You can just jump on, you can start pedaling, and then you can clip in. And there's a lot less things that can go wrong.
I mean, massive respect to all the people that do it. Like, and it's definitely something as I continue on with the sport that I want to master. But it's something you got to practice, right? This training block's just been about learning to ride and learning to swim, like getting the basics right.
Cool.
And but I would maybe one day. To be honest, my balance, I find it hard to balance enough as it is on the bike with my feet clipped in. I don't need to add another factor.
Yeah, fair. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my nutrition that I'm using at the moment, and I'm really excited because I haven't mentioned this anywhere on Instagram or anything yet.
I should take notes.
Mate, it is, well, you should take it to your coach and see what he says. It is hands down working for me, and I'm absolutely loving it. I bought something called maltodextrin from Bulk Nutrients, and it's essentially just like 1 gram for 1 gram of carb, right? So it's just like, it's just straight glucose, ratio, right? Just straight glucose. And I started mixing that into my bottles, and it was working well. I was like, this is good. But then a mate of mine told me that if you get casting sugar from the store, that is 1 gram of carb. For every gram, you've got 50%. It's 1 part sucrose, which is actually 50-50 glucose and fructose, right? Okay. So you're actually getting 2 different types of carbs. Now the body can only absorb X amount of fructose, right? So you can't have like heaps and heaps of that. Sure. But I worked out the ratio, and I am now putting 200 grams of casting sugar right, which is a lot of sugar, into a bottle, 100 grams of maltodextrin to give me 300 grams of carbs, 200
In one bottle.
in one bottle.
Is that just like a sludge?
No.
Yeah,
so
right.
the sugar and the maltodextrin mixed in, and it's a good like 800 ml bottle.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's nothing. It's less than a liter, right? And when I put it all in together, and then I add 2 of my unflavored sodium electrolytes, which are heavy sodium, it balances out to be like slightly sweet and 300 grams of carbs with all my electrolytes in one bottle.
And then what, you're just having sips of that throughout?
And I just drink that. So I'll be on the bike and I've got that in my holster. I've got an aero bottle at the front that's just going to have plain water in it.
Yeah.
I'll get more water from the aid stations and keep filling that up as we go.
Yeah.
And I will just sip on that for the entire Port Mac race. In Cairns, I'm going to
good.
have that same thing, and then I'll also have another one in with like a personal needs bag. You get like halfway through the bike, you can get another one, and I'll just have 2 of it and I'll switch it out. So 600 grams of carbs in one bottle. I will have like some dates in there, just for like actual food, or gels and like blocks and stuff like that with some caffeine stuff. But that, and you know what the best thing about it is, man? It is dirt cheap.
Yeah, that's the thing, is all these supplements are...
Dude, I pay like $1 for casting sugar. It lasts me like 6 or 7 long rides.
Yeah.
The maltodextrin costs like $20 for a massive 2 litre.
Yeah.
I pay nothing in fuel, in nutrition. And I've tested it. I've done it like on 4 or 5 long rides. I did my 5-hour ride the other day with it. And I was just like, this is the biggest hack in the world, man.
Because even, I mean, I was just using this for some of my like rides, like at home or anything, but even like, you know the concentrated apple juice that your mum tells you never to drink?
Yeah.
Like that stuff has, I think, like 60 grams of carbs per 200 mils.
Yeah, wow.
So like a lot of, or maybe a little bit less, sorry, anywhere from like 40 to 60. But like for 200 mils, that's a lot. Like in a standard half-liter bottle, you could have 100 grams of carbs. So like I was just taking apple juice with me on my rides, and it was like such a cheaper alternative.
Makes you think how bad it was for you as a kid.
Oh man, I used to pump those little juice boxes as well, and
60 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm using, and I'm actually like, I'm so excited for it because it's just been working, man. And like, it is sweet, like it is sweet. Don't get me wrong, but I'm getting it down, and the gut seems like it's handling it really well. So, maltodextrin and casting sugar.
Yeah, good to know.
Cool. All right, so 5 hours at Port Mac. I'm absolutely convinced you're going to do it. I'm really excited for you.
Got a little rivalry with my partner as well.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that, because last time we spoke when we had a coffee, you said that she's a bit of a better rider than you, especially up the hills.
She's a significantly better rider. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She's a significantly better rider. I actually just put up a video like last week about, I thought I had her on this hill.
Yeah.
And I was so stoked about it, and then she just comes like a bullet next to me.
Your face in that video was just demoralized.
Pretty much, yeah. I thought I was doing really... To be fair, now I can see her the whole time, so I think I'm doing better. But no, she's a really... I mean, she probably would hate me saying this, but yeah, she's a very good cyclist.
Yeah.
She was a speed skater in Colombia. That's where she's from, and so she used to cycle quite a bit over there. And have you ever been to Colombia?
I haven't, no. I really want to go to South America.
It's amazing. It is hilly.
Like, right, okay.
Like, if you complain about the Port Mac hill to a Colombian person, they'll just laugh at you. Like, their average rides have, like, easily over 2,000 meters of elevation.
Wow.
Like, it's a lot. So, yeah, I call her a mountain goat. She hates it, absolutely hates it. She says that mountain goats are ugly.
And how's her swim? Will she come out of you in front on the swim?
Yeah, well, it's funny, like, we're neck and neck in the swim. I reckon we swim, like we did just a 2,000 continuous swim in the pool.
Yeah.
And I reckon we started and finished in exactly the same position. Like we're very, like she's, I would call myself not a very attractive swimmer. I've been told I just try to muscle the water.
Yeah.
Which tends to, I've also been called not a very pretty cyclist by the guy who did my bike fit. Whereas she's quite smooth. She's a lot more streamlined.
Yeah.
But yeah, swimming-wise, I reckon we're pretty even. The only thing is...
You'll get her on the run.
I think I'm much more confident in the ocean as well. I've done a few more ocean swims than her. And also, I just grew up by the beach and all that, so that could be a factor.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am faster in the run. But, you know, she has this incredible, you know, grit and determination. And she likes to suffer, like in that way. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think she's gonna do amazing. We're both, aiming for that kind of 5-hour mark.
Fantastic, man.
I tried to suggest we should have a little wager on it. But that's TBC still. So she says it's not fair because I'm taller and can run faster. So, I said, but you're a better cyclist.
Smaller and you can ride faster. So.
Yeah, but look, we'll see. Regardless, I'll be super proud of her, and definitely wouldn't have been able to get through this training block and enjoy it as much if she wasn't a part of it. Yeah, we help each other. Like it helps big time. Like we motivate each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to wake up earlier every morning to get everything ready to then wake her up because she's not a morning person.
I've seen the videos where you'll get out and you'll make the coffees and you'll go back in and you'll wake up now.
But they're nice. We do that stuff. She helps me a lot with with a lot of other things. I'm not very can struggle with like business orientated like mindset, that sort of stuff, and she helps bring me structure, and I tend to just be quite creative, and she helps gives me systems, and we work together really well as a team.
Like a power couple.
Yeah, I don't know, but we obviously have our moments where we both can't stand each other for a few days or a few hours.
That's pretty common in any couple.
even on like when we're riding or something will annoy one of us, or one of us will just pull ahead, usually her.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice. Like, and again, as much as our training has been like we do a lot together, we've done like our runs have basically all been separate because we run at different paces and zones. But yeah, it's been, and also motivation wise, like every time I think I'm slowing down, I'm like, you know what, she's hustling. Like I have to go. Like she did an FTP test.
Oh, I'm interested here. This is very interesting.
And she got like a 3.9 or like 4 watts per kilo FTP.
Holy crap.
It was, and that was on a road bike. Like that wasn't even on her time trial bike. So yeah, she's when I say she's good, like she's really very good. Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah,
I think I had like the best day possible with my FTP. Everything just went to plan, and I think I got 3.7, and I was just like, this is. I'm ready now. This is it.
Yeah.
3.9, man, is massive.
Yeah, when I started my training block, it was about 2.7, 2.8. Yeah. And now it's at like 3.4. So I was really happy with that improvement. It's I'm a fair bit off 3.9 Paul, but we'll get
incredible.
There. Yeah, no, she's very, very good. Yeah. Very good. But she'll never tell you that.
No.
She'll never tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She probably hates that I've said it out loud and shared it with the world now. Because now I've created that expectation.
Do you think she'll be listening to this?
Yeah, I'll make her listen to it.
That'd be nice. That'd be good. Cool, mate. So you spoke a little bit before about what you're going to do with the content after Port Mac. Is there anything on your mind after this weekend? Like, obviously, we'll take some time to rest and recoup, and then what's on the horizon? Definitely
going to chill out for a couple of weeks. I've got a little bit of tendonitis in my shin, like in my left kind of shin, which is nothing too serious, but I'll just rest that a little bit. But honestly, for about 10 days, 2 weeks, I'm just going to surf,
relax, enjoy.
Do some party pump, try to build up a little bit of muscle that I've lost. But then Soph and I are doing High Rocks together in Sydney.
Cool.
And then, we'll find the next challenge, find another. I really want to do a full Ironman at some point. Yeah. Whether that's possible this year.
Busso.
Busso would be great. It's just dependent on, may be moving to the United Kingdom
cool.
for like some work opportunities with dancing and stuff. So obviously that will put things on hold.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. But definitely, a full is definitely on the horizon at some point. Yeah, we've got High Rocks in July. And then it's just going to be, like, I'm not going to stop training this way. Like, even if I don't have a race or an event set in stone straight away, like, I feel like this style of training is now just ingrained in our lifestyle. Like, going out for our rides on the weekend with our friends. Even, like, the running, we've always run anyways. Even the swim, I was saying, like, the swim.
You told me last time.
Yeah, even now, like, today I need to swim, and I'm like, I cannot think of anything worse. But every time I finish the swim,
you love it.
I go, you know what, my body feels so great now.
Fantastic.
I'm not going to do any ridiculous, like, 3K or 4.
Yeah,
I'm not doing any 10Ks. I couldn't even do that if I tried. But I'll just do like a cruisy 1.5, maybe 2Ks, and just enjoy it. But keep going. I don't want to lose all the progress that I've made over this training block.
Just maintain.
Try to maintain. If I can keep getting better, and then figure out the schedule, and also have a wedding that we're supposed to be saving for. Unfortunately, the wedding fund has gone into the bikes at the minute. But
how'd you manage that one?
yeah, we're both enablers.
Yeah.
So we're like, we may as well go all in. Like, we don't know when we're going to do our next one. So yes, we got to start focusing on the wedding.
I'm excited to see the wedding, definitely. And mate, whatever the next adventure or challenge is, I hope you keep making content because I absolutely love following the
Thank
journey.
you, man. I really appreciate that.
Why don't you tell our viewers where they can find you on Instagram, coaching business, and give yourself a bit of a plug, mate.
Well, you guys can find my Instagram handle is just my name, so it's just Julian_Caillon. I kind of have a TikTok, I guess. I'm terrible at cross. Hopeless at cross posting. And then coaching wise, I do a little bit of online coaching, not too much, just because I've just been focusing on my in-person. I also work as an exercise physiologist in aged care and disability care.
Busy schedule then.
Yeah, and that's kind of been taking up my time. But I do occasionally take on the client, depending on if their goals, they have the right goals, and if we're the right fit for each other. And that's just all done, through my social media. So just people DM me. But I'm always happy to have a chat with anyone.
Cool, man.
Give any advice, whether it's useful. That's up to them.
Good stuff.
But yeah.
Well, dude, good luck on Sunday, man.
Mate,
I'll be out there racing with you.
I'll see you out there.
And sub-5s, eh? Hopefully.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Try with Alex podcast. If you have any feedback or would like to suggest a new guest for the podcast, please get in touch. And as always, if you like the show, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating. Thank you so much. Cheers.